This is an interesting problem. It talks about a spring. So think about this. We have a spring. We don't know how long it is. All right, so we'll call it X. And when you put a load of 12 kilograms on it, it stretches the spring. So we got a load here at 12 kilograms. And it stretches the spring. And the stretch, it stretches the full length of the spring to 15. Okay? And then we have the spring again, and we put 30 kilograms on it, and it stretches it to 18 centimeters. So how do we set up this problem so that we can solve for what the spring was to begin with? Well, the stretch of the spring wasn't 15, but it was 15 minus x. So one thing to think about is the stretch is equal to some constant times the weight. And the constant varies depending on what type of spring you have. But if we're using the same spring for each of these little tests in this problem, we could say that the stretch here, even though the whole length is 15, the stretch is really the whole length 15 minus what the spring started with. All right? And that stretch times some constant, right? And the weight we used was 12 kilograms. So we have a constant m here. We can solve this for m, saying 15 minus x over 12 equals some m. We can do the same thing for this problem. We can say that the stretch, which is represented by 18 minus the length of the spring, equals some m times 30. Right? The weight of 30 stretched the whole spring now is 18. We didn't know how long the spring was, so if I take the spring and subtract that from the 18, I have the whole thing. So again, we'll solve for m, and we get 18 minus x over 30. So how can I find out what that constant is? Well, I have two proportions equal to the m. So I can set those equal and solve for m. So I know that 15 minus x over 12 has to equal 18 minus x over 30. And you know how to solve something like this, right? You can cross multiply, so 30 times 15 minus x equals 12 times 18 minus x, and you can solve that equation. And when you do, you'll have x, which was the original length of the spring. And hopefully you can solve this yourself, but you should get 13 for the x. All right, so that's how long the spring was before it was stretched each time. Okay, so it started at 13, it stretched to 15. It started at 13 again and stretched to 18. You can do these. Good luck.